People of Reddit, instead of missed hints, what hint? Did you catch that got you laid? She complained to me that her ex-boyfriend never wanted to have a sex with her and how she missed having sex. I remember her saying, why do you think he didn't want to have a sex with me? And I said something like, I can't think of a single reason any guy wouldn't want you. I got her that night. My wife on our very first date as I was trying to get the projector set up so we could watch a movie. Well, if you can't get it working, I guess we will have to entertain ourselves in some other way. My GF. The first time we did it, it was her birthday. I asked her what she wanted, and she said she wanted a foot rub. She said I would have a pretty nice view, and asked what color panties I preferred. My GF is not subtle. In high school gym class, it was raining so we were running laps around the gym. Cute girl is running next to me and we are sort of chatting a bit. Her friends run up behind her and begin chanting, "Girl's name is a virgin. Girl's name is a virgin." Double quote. She gets mad and yells back, "I'm working on it." Even I picked up on that. I emailed to ask my language exchange partner over for dinner and suggested we could work on vocabulary. "We can do things in a kitchen," he replied. "Yes, and things in a living room, and things in a bedroom too." A few years ago, I had a girl and a few friends over for a movie. None of my friends came, but she did. I gave her a beer. She asked if I was having one, but I told her that my driving license is on probation. I need to have a blood alcohol level of 0. Even one drink would make me go over, and I wouldn't be able to drive her home afterwards. She grabs a beer, opens it and hands it to me. We were with mutual friends at a hotel and everyone was drinking. About to go to the bar with my buddies when we walk by the pool. Drunk hot chick is in the pool saying, "Somebody come swim with me." Nobody wanted to swim, but I thought this might be a sign. Skipped bar, went swimming, had naked water time, smashed, been married 16 years now. Glad I caught the subtle clue. 3 weeks ago I went on my very first camping trip. I'm a huge city boy yuppie or whatever and I'm not outdoorsy at all, but I wanted to say I've gone camping before. For this reason I had 0 camping equipment. One girl in our group, she also happens to be the maid of honor for an upcoming wedding in which I am the best man, brought extra camping gear for me. What a sweetheart. Anyways, fast forward to our first night and I had my very own 2-person tent to myself. It was awesome. Around 1 AM she knocks on the tent entrance and tells me to scoot over. She can't sleep because everyone in her tent, 8-person tent, was snoring too loud. That's fine. I'm super grateful for her because otherwise I would be sleeping on the grass and getting bit by bugs. She slides in. I notice she's not wearing any shorts or sweatpants, only an oversized shirt from our alma mater. This was odd to me initially as it was really chilly, but whatever. Maybe this is how she sleeps normally. We talk for a little bit. She asks me how work is going and if I like camping so far. I told her it was pretty cool. It's nice to get away from the city sometimes. She then straight up tells me she's never had sex in a tent before. We had sex in a tent. When she unzipped my pants and started giving me a blowjob, it was at that moment I thought, maybe she wants to have a sex, and sure enough, she did. I asked a girl at the beach if she wanted her picture taken with her friends. She politely refused and I backed off, but I overheard her loudmouthed friend exclaim, he's totally hitting on you, go and get him to take a picture of us." Good thing she said that, because I would have never thought I was in her league otherwise. She came up to me at the dance floor at a party and asked me, "What are you doing later?" "Nothing much." "Why? Wanna do me?" I did good. When he casually mentioned he had no work in the morning, green light. The bank teller left her number on my cash envelope. I love online banking and mobile check deposit, but they've never gotten me laid. When on a date, we were looking at the dessert menu at a restaurant, TGI Fridays, and we didn't see anything we wanted. So she suggested we pick up something from the store on the way home. When we pulled into the parking lot, she was driving. She said, "Here, go get some chocolate sauce." I looked at her confused for a brief moment, and she kept this totally straight-faced, subtle smile, as if she was waiting for the light bulb to go off. And when it did, I ran into the store and grabbed some Hershey's chocolate sauce. Dessert was really good. I was at her house watching TV. She went to her bedroom and came out wearing a robe and panties. She then asked how much of a hint I needed. A pretty big one, apparently. I told a friend I could solve a Rubik's Cube. She said I would be all over you if you did that. Went round with Rubik's Cube. Solved it. Got laid. Carried on getting laid for a couple of months afterwards as well. TBH, I still think I missed a hint. Could probably have gone round without a cube and just hit on her. A girl at the table asked her friend, why are you so happy? The other girl said, because I'm getting laid tonight. She was talking about me. I took a friend of mine as a date to a wedding. At some point, I made an off-the-cuff remark about how we should play strip poker. She said, that's not fair. You have more clothes on than me. After I take off my dress, I'd be naked. We didn't stay at the wedding long after that. My wife's hint that would be pretty subtle, but she does it so often that it's not anymore at all. We're both laying in bed watching TV and she'll stretch her leg out and set it on mine so we cross ankles. That's it, and I know it's go time. It's actually more of a joke by now. One of my favorite things I have ever heard on a first date. Just because I am inviting you back to my house doesn't mean we will have a sex. Okay, sure. Maybe it didn't inherently mean that, but it is exactly what happened. We also both skipped work the next day and hung out. 11 years later we are both still friends, but never did have a real relationship. Lady friend and I were hanging out one night, and very intoxicated. Thankfully my brain pulled out of blackout mode long enough to remember clips of the night. Discussion about her boobs. She's got phenomenal boobs. I asked to see them. She gives that look and just asks. No pictures, right? Next clip is she's topless in front of me and I think I asked her if she minded if I squeezed them. Next clip. I'm sucking on those titties. Then she's naked, laying on my couch and we're talking about a tattoo I didn't realize she had, and her bald pussy. Then we're making out. Then she says she's on her period and suggests a shower. Then we're ducking in the shower. The alcohol wasn't helping my situation, so a lot of shower head. Then I'm puking in the sink. She started with, I had a naughty dream about you last night. I missed her first hint, but when I asked her when are you leaving and she said I'm leaving with you. Message was received and it was a Tuesday. I was home from college and hanging out on my front porch with a girl I'd just met. She was talking about how it's weird that some people sit around all day and don't even go on walks, let alone exercise, then complain about being out of shape. Then somehow that led her into saying, take us for example. We're both active people in good shape, and we might end up ducking. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what else was said after that, but I took the not so subtle hint. And I took it again when she showed up at my college at around midnight looking for a place to crash. Girl came to one of my birthday parties in her own car. When it came time to leave the starting location and go to the bar, she said she wanted to ride with me to give me my present. Roadhead ensued. Edit. For those asking why I drove myself, it was convenience. I wasn't a big drinker at the time, so nobody was in danger, except maybe my wang. 3 years ago, we were in a bar with some friends and she said let's go somewhere else more fun. And then I said I don't know. The last bus to get back home is in 30 minutes and I don't want to pay for a cab, and she responded, you can sleep at my place after. I got laid and she's still my girlfriend. I host a pub trivia night here in town and my current girlfriend was a regular competitor. I saw her out one night at a different bar celebrating a friend's birthday. We recognized each other and chatted a bit. Then she hit me with this. So I've got a trivia question for you. But if you get it wrong you have to buy me a drink. Me, I'll give it a shot. I'm pretty smart. If you're actually smart, you'll get it wrong. Edit. To all my fellow trivia nerds wondering what the question was, what US state and respective capital share none of the same letters in their names? The correct answer is Pierre. SD. I legitimately didn't know the answer, so I didn't even have to throw the question. She was telling me how she hadn't had sex in months. I said, are you trying to change that? And I got laid : First date with a woman off a Cupid. She just asked, wanna come over? Pretty straightforward. It was the first time I was hanging out with a girl. Her friend was around for a while and said if you leave marks on her I'll get mad. I was confused. Did she think I was abusive? Do you mean 6 marks? The girl in question said but I'll lick 6 marks. And looked right at me. I smashed real good. It wasn't a very subtle hint. Was talking to a gal at a bar. She said, I have a pierced clit. I said, let's go take a look at that. Banged in the parking lot. When I lost my virginity I was really stoned. Me and this girl were hanging out for a while. We started making out. She got completely naked. I was just like, oh, that's cool. It didn't occur to me that we were going to have sex until she started fingering herself on my couch and said you should probably take off your boxers. I was one clueless kid. Chaining up bike at restaurant. Chatty woman said, good for you for biking today. We enter restaurant at the same time and the hostess asks, table for 2? Woman turns to me, I don't know. Will you be joining me? Was hanging out with a girl one afternoon in college when we both started talking about how it had been so long since each of us had sex. We went to a party that night with an agreement that we wouldn't go home alone no matter what. Halfway through the party, consisting of mostly people we knew pretty well, I ask her if she's found anyone. She says no, and asks me. I say no, and liquid courage compels me to say well how about we go home together? She says sure. 4.5 years later, she's still my girlfriend and I moved to Europe to attend grad school at the same university as her. I'd call that a win. She said when my daughter falls asleep, I want to suck your cock. Extremely obvious hints. Women, please take note. We are not subtle creatures. When they make eye contact and start laughing at my dumb, itty jokes, game on. Wanna bang? Guys, it worked. Was in a bar on downtown Florence on leave. When I was drinking I noticed these 2 girls next to me alone. Started chatting them up and noticed they had an Aussie accent. So me being halfway in the bag put on my best Aussie accent and asked so how is it down under? One of the girls replied buy me a drink and find out. It was nice. I had moved out of my hometown for a few years, then moved back. I was practicing kung fu at the time, and had found a new place to study back in my hometown. There I ran into an old French friend of mine from high school. He said we should get a drink and catch up. So, a few days later, we head out to the bars. We were heading to a place called Habits, but walked past a bar called Animations on our way. Casually glancing in the window, I saw a very attractive blonde who was dressed to impress sitting by herself. I made a quick note of it to my French buddy, who was always looking for some action. We'd go to Habits, have a few beers, but not much was going on. We decide to go to Animations to see if that attractive blonde was still there. She was, and was still alone. We grab some beers and saddle up next to her. We ask why she's been alone. And apparently she had set up a date over the internet. I think POF. This was 2010, and the guy either no-showed, or saw her and left. No way. So the 3 of us are having drinks, and under the table she puts her hand on my knee. I put my hand on her knee, and she immediately grabs it and moves it to her butt. I look at my friend, who then leaves. She asks to go and have a cigarette, so we step outside and she immediately flashes me. I drunkenly say you know, my apartment is literally around the corner from this bar. I never saw her again. She was 39. I was 26. It was the only time I woke up the next day and my partner in fun was already gone. She took her shirt off. I picked up on that clue because of the times I lay awake having missed the she took her pants off clue a while before that with someone else. Funny thing is, taking her shirt off wasn't a hint. She was wearing a sweater that pulled the shirt up with it by mistake. Was embarrassed and hid in the sweater for a moment while taking it off. I thought it was a hint and helped her finish removing both. She thought I was smooth as hell. I thought I was so clued in for finally catching the disrobing hint. DJ at a bar dedicated a song to me that was a blatant hint. Offered her a ride home that night. Yada yada. IT was nice. Was hanging out with a friend and she pointed to a fridge magnet that said something like instead of dinner, how about anal? She was just goofing around. But I grabbed her hand, drove back to my house and ate her ass for 30 minutes and blowed the duck out of it. It was the first time we fooled around. and she later told me she had no intention of fooling around. But when I grabbed her hand she knew what was up and was really turned on by me just going for it. I'm married now and wife doesn't go for anal, so this still sits in my spank bank. She said want to come over and watch this new show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I said yes. We didn't watch the show until the next day. We're married now. Was giving her a back rub while we were watching a movie. I went to the kitchen to grab something. Maybe a drink, I don't remember, and when I came back she had her top off. I ignored it for a few minutes until she started pushing her chest out towards me. Things escalated pretty fast from there. All this happened after about 3 weeks of missed hints. I'm not the best at picking up on them. When she walked up to me and grabbed me straight in the crotch. Kinda liked it more when you all didn't get laid. Late night pool party. Most people were nude at this point. Girl swims up to me. Oh there's my ex. Cover me. Backs her ass into my crotch and puts my hands over her tits. We both have a bucket of chicken. One would do it. Edit. SBTW I'm lonely as duck. He asked if I wanted to have some sex tonight. Got laid. Still asked if she was sure midway through. Plot twist. Missed the hint. Still got it in. Girl I'd gone to school with, let's call her Sarah, and I had been texting back and forth a bit and we'd run into each other occasionally since we have mutual friends. Eventually we both end up at a club for a birthday party and we're flirting pretty much the whole time. At some point she tells me her roommate's out of town, but I didn't really think anything of it at the time. Missed hint number 1. Closing time rolls around and we head outside with the rest of our friends to grab cabs. A group of them are heading back to one of their places to enjoy a little jazz cabbage. I ask Sarah if she wants to go, and she tells me she'd rather just Uber back to her place. In my head I'm thinking oh, she's probably tired. Maybe next time. So I tell her I had fun and start to turn back towards the rest of the group. Missed hint number 2. I turn around to Sarah's friend Maria standing there with her hand in the air giving me the stop sign. He says to me what are you doing? Go with her. I went with her. Did the deed and discovered one of her nips was pierced. Which was neat. Thanks Maria. You the real MVP. I made up the guest bed. Before I turned around I heard her say you've got to be ducking kidding me. Right, turned around. She was completely naked. She was a very nice lady. I had a long-term girlfriend through most of high school, but she broke things off early my freshman year of college. Not long after that, I met up with a female friend from high school whom I had always found attractive but, due to having a girlfriend, had never really been interested in. We caught up over dinner and then afterwards I suggested we continue hanging out and watch a movie. I had no ulterior motives and hadn't even thought about the possibility of anything happening. But when I said that she laughed kind of knowingly, and somehow I just knew that she thought I was trying to have a sex with her. But she agreed to my plan, so I figured, if she thinks I'm trying to have a sex with her, and she's going along with it, I may as well try and have a sex with her. So I did. She was into it and we had a good time. After a date, went to my room and sat talking for a bit. First date in a while so I didn't know if I should make a move. She pushed me back, straddled and kissed me. I finally took a hint. We were drinking in an Italian neighborhood. I made a bet with a friend that I could pick up a chick by asking her how her last name was. I went to a Catholic high school. Half of the chicks, and most of the prettiest ones, were Italian. So I thought I could spot the one who would appreciate such a question. A couple of hours later, I joined my friend outside for a smoke break. An Italian looking chick was there smoking. Me. Head nod. Hey. Her. Head nod. Hey. Me. Big smile. Do you make lasagne? Her. Confused. What? Me. Speaking deliberately. Do you make lasagne? Her. Yeah. I make lasagne. Me. Big smile. How's your lasagne? Her. Big smile. It's pretty ducking good. Me. I'm Zulu Charlie. Or I'm Gina. Bada bing. Bada boom. Got laid. Full stop. Back when I was with my ex, I came back from the bathroom to find her on the bed completely naked, smiling flirtatiously at me and said hey to me. I was going to just continue playing FIFA but then I had this crazy idea that maybe she wanted my PP in her VV. Turned out I was right. After Thessic snap I finished my FIFA game and lost via a bullet goal. Kinda ruined the night.